welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights as well. The head of state presides over the second session of the Council of Ministers of the year 2023. And on the international scene, Novak Djokovic's comeback at the Australian Open in the tennis world. Those were the major and top highlights for tonight. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Gelle, President of the Republic, Head of Government, was held this Tuesday, January 17, 2023, the second meeting of the Council of Ministers. Let's listen together.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Sous la présidence du chef de l'État, Son Excellence M. Ismail Omar Gelle, s'est tenue la deuxième séance du Conseil des ministres en ce mardi 17 janvier 2023. Étaient inscrites à l'ordre du jour trois questions.
The Ministry of Economy and Finance in charge of industry, the first issue, draft law on the ratifications of the financing agreement between the Republic of Djibouti and the Islamic Development Bank. The purpose of the bill is to ratify a loan agreement of a total amount of 2.6 billion, equivalent to $50 million between the Islamic Development Bank and the Republic of Djibouti, with a repayment period of 25 years and a grace period of 7 years. This agreement is intended to finance the Zero Slums program, particularly the restructuring of the Jagabulduk district. This first envelope will allow the launch of restructuring and upgrading operations of the historic district of Jagabulduk in the Ward 7 of the town of Pulaus, which is a densely populated area, 521 inhabitants per hectare, characterized by the promiscuity of housing. Thus, it is planned to make physical investment in infrastructure and urban services, as well as in precarious housing to significantly improve the living conditions of and habitat of the district. The three components of the actors in charge of the urban sectors and drawing up a new master plan for the city of Djibouti, upgrading and restructuring the neighborhood by opening up through the construction of 8 kilometers of internal roads, by financing the supply of drinking water, electricity, storm water drainage, and sanitation, as well as the construction of a CDC, a market and sports field, and the development of a site in Balbala to rehouse affected households, and implementation of youth from the neighborhood. This project will contribute to a considerable thanks to the modernization of urban infrastructure and access to decent housing for all. The second issue, draft law on the ratifications of the financing agreement between the Republic of Djibouti and the World Bank for affordable housing in Djibouti. The bill concerns the ratifications of a loan agreement of about 2.7 billion, equivalent to 11.7 million Saudi dirham, between IDA and the Republic of Djibouti. The terms of this concessional loan has a maturity period of 40 years with a grace period of 10 years. The project is designated to expand access to affordable housing finance for a large number of households that do not have sufficient collateral. The main components of this project are the capitalizations of a financial endowment of $7 million within the Djibouti Guarantee Fund to guarantee access to financing for households with a monthly income between 80,000 and 300,000 Djibouti franc. Thanks to these mechanisms, 2,000 households will be able to access affordable housing. The establishment of a financial allocation of $4 million to finance the construction of affordable housing for households with a monthly income of less than 80,000 and unable to access the banking market through a self-built mechanism. Eventually, microcredit dedicated to housing will be created through financial institutions. The project will also finance the conversions of Arulos and Chef lease purchase contract to the tune of $1.5 million. The project will also finance the establishment of technical assistance and capacity building for public-private actors in the building sector valued chain in coordination with the Chamber of Commerce and the Building Trade Center led by MENFOP. Ministry of Trade and Tourism. The third question, draft decree on the organization and functioning of the National Agency of Tourism, taken in application of the law number 104 EN 28L adopted in February 2021 and relating to the transformations of the ONTD into the EPIC, named National Agency of Tourism, and the ANT is in charge of the executions of the policy of the government as regards promotions and development of the sector of tourism in the Republic of Djibouti. The National Strategy for the Development and Promotions of Tourism was adopted in April 2019 and is based on the following axes, in particular, the institutional reforms, the creations of priority areas of tourism development, the mobilizations of financing for productive investment, and the establishment of policy of support. This draft decree is part of the implementation of the institutional reform access. The draft decree specifies the missions and of the ANT, its organizations and operations, as well as the powers of administrative board of directors and management bodies in general, management and other department of the EPIC. The draft decree completes the legal arsenals relating to the setting up of the National Agency of Tourism. Communication, the Minister of Economy and Trade and the Secretary of State in charge of investment reported on their participation in the first Djibouti-Turkey Investment and Business Forum, which was held from 9 to 10 January 2023 in Istanbul. This event aimed to further strengthen the economic and trade partnership between the two countries in various areas such as agriculture, fisheries, finance, energy, and transport logistics. On the sidelines of the forum, the ministerial delegation had a bilateral working meeting with the Turkish Deputy Minister of Finance.
In the presence of the Minister of Health, national, international partners, and researchers was presented at the Sheraton Hotel this Tuesday an innovative technology to fight against malaria in Djibouti. This initiative, carried out by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, consists in developing in our country, in collaboration with the company Oxitec, a technology for self-limitation of the vector of the disease. As a reminder, malaria is a problem with two main actors, the infected human reservoir and the female Anopheles mosquito vector. The males do not bite and do not transmit the disease that spreads the infection. Despite the continued availability of treatment and testing, Djibouti has seen a drastic increase in malaria cases in recent years. This increase is, according to international scientific consensus, attributable to a new vector, Anopheles stifsiniae, originating from Southeast Asia, which is particularly competent in transmitting the disease compared to the known or historical vector. This vector was first described in Africa and Djibouti in 2013 and has since spread in the Horn of Africa region and west to Nigeria, causing outbreaks of malaria everywhere and threatening the success achieved during years of progress in vector control. As a result, traditional vector control interventions such as space spraying, indoor ritual spraying, and destruction of larval habitats require the provision of innovative interventions that are safe for the health of the population and sustainable. Thus, the Republic of Djibouti has approached the company Oxitec, which develops in the United States and Brazil of this technology of self-limitation of vector of dengue, which is also very present in Djibouti, nicknamed in Djibouti commando mosquito because of the appearance of camouflage, which is suppression of over 95% of the vector. A memorandum of collaboration between Djibouti and Oxitec was signed in 2021, and since then the two parties have been developing the Djibouti-friendly mosquito or Djibouti allied mosquito. This involved the insertion of a gene in the male mosquito that transmits to the next generation the inability to produce female mosquitoes, which are responsible for the transmission of the disease. This result is the decline of the Anopheles mosquito population in general by the lack of the renewal of the female mosquito. We now listen to an interview with the Director of Development of the Oxitec. Let's listen.
We've had a great meeting today. It's been very, very positive. The objective of the meeting was really to engage stakeholders broadly about our friendly mosquito program. Friendly mosquitoes are a male mosquito that we've developed that will help control a specific mosquito that transmits diseases. We are here today to talk specifically about malaria mosquitoes and the control of those. So we have a product, a technology that's been developed in partnership with very many people around the world. And now we're partnering with Djibouti to try and help prevent malaria over here in Djibouti at the invitation of the Djibouti government. Having a meeting like this where we've got representatives from Somaliland, from Yemen, from Kenya, from Ethiopia, it's fantastic to have that kind of input to make sure people are aware that this technology is out there and starting to become available, because these things do take time. And so it has to be a regional, potentially a continental strategy in the end. But at the moment, we're starting with Djibouti as you know, a focal point, if you like, for our work here. But very soon, we'd love to expand that regionally.
Now we listen to an interview taken by our beloved colleague Hidayah Mohammed of the Advisor to the President on Health Matters.
This is a very innovative technology. As you know, till now we were using traditional tools to control mosquito in Djibouti, such as insecticide, aerial spray, indoor residual spray, and predicide control. As you can maybe heard, we have a new vector in Djibouti called Anopheles stephensi that came from Southeast Asia. And this mosquito is very invasive and very adaptive and very competitive in malaria transmission. So this project is a control of the generation of mosquito, female mosquito. We will insert a gene of auto-limitation of the vector, so the next generation will be only male mosquito that doesn't bite and that doesn't transmit disease. We will launch this kind of project for malaria and dengue, inshallah, in Djibouti, and that will serve the Horn of Africa, the region, and Africa at large.
For his part, the Ministry of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robli Abdilli, indicated that the Republic of Djibouti has approached the company Oxitec, which develops in the United States and Brazil this technology of self-limitation of dengue vector, which is also very present in Djibouti because of the appearance of camouflage with suppressions of more than 95% of the vector. Now, let's listen to Dr. Giroum Haiko Mahetene, Regional Coordinator of IGAD.
The reason why I am here in this workshop is to be part of the new initiative to eradicate and eliminate malaria from Djibouti. So Djibouti is one of our member states in IGAD. As you know, member states are 8 member states in IGAD, and IGAD is one of the regional economic communities in Africa. And we are working on the community on behalf of the community of nations, including Djibouti. And our goal and the IGAD aim is to complement the health agenda of the member states, including Djibouti. So this time we are discussing on malaria and malaria elimination and eradication, and also the control and the prevention of disease due to malaria is very, very critical for our region. So today's discussion, a scientific discussion, is very, very good time for us to show our strategy, the health strategy, and also policy that supports this kind of intervention.
The President of the Somali region of Jubaland, Mr. Ahmed Mohammed Islam, in a working visit of some days in Djibouti, went today to the chief town of the region of Arta. The President of Jubaland, accompanied by a strong delegation, including his Minister of Trade, went directly to the Raid Sand Field, where was held the reconciliation conference between the Somalis and the peace agreement was signed in 2000. Warmly welcomed by the authorities of the region, the Prefect of the region, Mr. Mohammed Sheikh Hassan, and the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Ilmi Bouh, welcomed the President of his delegation. Over a convivial lunch offered by the authorities of the region, the President of the Somali region of Jubaland thanked the authorities of the region as well as the inhabitants of the region of Arta for their welcome and their gratitudes towards the Somali people and government. On this occasion, the authorities of the region gave gift symbols of brotherhood between the people of the two regions and to the President and his Minister of Trade. After the lunch yesterday by the Prime Minister of the Solidarity Week activities in the Ali Sibih region, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Mrs. Uluf Ismail Abdo, visited this Monday the rural border locality of Gister in the sub-prefecture of Ali Ade. The Minister was accompanied on her trip by senior officials of her department and was welcomed on site by the Prefect of the Ali Sibih region, Musa Aden Migani, and the inhabitants of the village. A warm and festive welcome to the rhythm of folk songs and dances was reserved for her. The delegation then went to the aunt's house to meet and exchange with the community of Egestur as part of the Solidarity Week. The department organized consultations not only in the main towns but also in the remote areas to learn about the situation on the ground and inform the public about social actions. The people of Egestur spoke about their concerns, emphasizing the support they expect from the ministry. The locality is an agricultural area. According to the farmers, there are 20 large agricultural perimeters divided between 150 people. The farmers' objective is to reach the ASAMU level, so they need to develop their activities. This is why, in order to increase their production, they have requested that these perimeters be fenced to permanent animal institution. In addition to the issue of social health assistance program, the women of the village recalled that they had a common fund which today has practically no funds. They requested the support of the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity to revitalize their fund. In her speech at the meeting, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Mrs. Ulufa Ismail Abdo, referred to the objective of this tour, noting that it's part of the policy of the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, to examine more closely the situation of the population in rural areas and see closely situation underway. On the sidelines, with her meeting with the community of Egestur, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Madam Ulufa Ismail Abdo, visited the school and the health post of the village. Accompanied by the prefect of the region and senior officials of the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, the minister first visited the elementary school, where she had a brief exchange with the teachers and students of the school. School kits were handed out on this occasion. The visit continued with a visit to the village health center. The minister met with the center's managers and health professionals to learn about the healthcare services offered by this facility. She was also able to discuss with women who came to consult during this visit. Maternity kits were made available to the clinic. While visiting the meeting site, Mrs. Ulufa Ismail was able to discover the know-how of the women of this locality through the exhibition of handicrafts made by them, a demonstration of know-how also in the field of culinary culture and especially the treatment of milk. Still in the continuity of the National Solidarity Week, the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity wished to meet the women of Ali Sabih in collaboration with the National Union of Women of Djibouti at the antenna of the UNFD in Ali Sabih. Thus, the Secretary General of UNFD, Mrs. Fatouma Musa Abdi, accompanied by executives of ADDS and the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, were warmly welcomed and exchanged with the women of Ali Sabih on the progress of the situation of women in Ali Sabih. It was also a question for MAS to share on the occasion of the National Week of Solidarity the interventions of the Ministry, but also and especially to inform and share the women of the region and the future actions of MAS. At the end of the work of the 13th session of the IUNA Assembly held in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, in the chapter of bilateral meetings, the Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gede, had fruitful discussions with eminent personalities and major players in the global energy sector. The Minister Yunus Ali Gede first met the new Kenyan Minister of Energy, Mr. Davis Churchill, to congratulate him on his appointment and invite him to make a working visit to Djibouti to further energy cooperation between our two countries, especially in the field of development of geothermal energy. The 15th edition of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week opened on January 16, 2023. The opening ceremony of this event was presided over by the President of the United Arab Emirates, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and in the presence of many world leaders. The Republic of Djibouti was represented at this Sustainability Week by the delegation led by His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Abdul Ghadir Musa Hilim, Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development. The Minister was accompanied by His Excellency Mr. Musa Mohammed Ahmed, Ambassador of Djibouti to the United Arab Emirates, and Mr. Aden Hassan Ilmi, Technical Advisor to the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, our blood viewers, the Australian Open tennis tournament started on Monday with the smooth qualification for the second round of the tournament of the Spaniard Rafael Nadal, the Russian Daniel Medvedev, and the Greek Stefanos. Novak will make his first appearance in the tournament of Tuesday. The Serbian is making his comeback in Australia after being expelled from the country last year for refusing to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Novak has already said he was a bit emotional after receiving a warm welcome on Friday during an exhibition match in Melbourne where he played Nick Kyrgios to a sold-out crowd. Well, by this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you once again.